take a look at our bigger picture, why it's turning that little bit colder. Well, we've got low pressure situated out to the east. This is the remnants of Storm Benjamin, which we spoke about earlier, named by Meteo France. So that's still lingering, swirling around in parts of the North Sea. But notice over to the west, we've got high pressure. Winds around high pressure move in a more clockwise direction, low pressure and anti-clockwise direction. So that drags in that cold Arctic air, which is what we're going to see over the weekend. So temperatures will start to decline. It is going to feel much chillier as we head through Saturday and Sunday, because we can see there's that blue, looking at the blue colours, there's that colder air moving down from the north. Quite a few isobars on the chart too, so it is still going to be fairly breezy, if not still quite gusty, particularly around coastal areas. And even on Sunday, we've still got that similar setup with low pressure out to the east, high pressure out to the west. Still, we've got that northerly flow of air, but notice low pressure never too far away. So there is some more wet weather on the cards, which I'll come on to in a moment. And we're not going to really see a change until we get to the middle part of next week. We've still got that northerly feed of air. If I skip over to Wednesday, notice that more of our air is this time coming from the west. So we see a change in those colours, more to the yellows, the oranges. So something perhaps slightly milder towards the end of next week. Still a bit of uncertainty there though, I'm afraid. But with that milder weather, it's probably going to be a bit more unsettled. So some spells of rain at times. There'll probably be fronts and then ridges bringing some slightly drier interludes before more rain again moving in from the west. So how chilly is it going to get next week? Let's take a look at some temperatures. So firstly, let's take a look at what the temperatures are actually going to be. So if I flip over to Saturday, we can see already there is a drop compared to what we had earlier in the week. We're about the mid-teens or so. Now we're dropping into the kind of mid to high single figures, just about double digits in the south. But those brisk northerly winds are actually going to make temperatures feel probably more like the mid-single figures. So in any exposed areas, it is going to be feeling that bit chillier, particularly across Scotland, parts of the north, likely feeling like freezing in these areas. And it's similar on Sunday too. That feels like temperature is going to feel much colder than what the actual air temperature is going to be. Now, what about the weather? Because that obviously can have a big impact on what it's actually going to feel like. So on Saturday, actually it's not going to be too bad. It's going to be lots of dry weather, lots of sunny spells for many areas, but definitely still a chance of showers. We can see in with that northerly, that Arctic maritime air mass, it is still going to bring in plenty of showers, mainly around coastal areas. Anywhere exposed to that northerly wind could catch some showers, the odd one or two being heavy, perhaps quite blustery at times with the brisk winds. Then Sunday we'll start to see a change. As I mentioned earlier, low pressure never too far away. We're going to see cloud and outbreaks of rain start to push in from the west. So feeling chilly still, perhaps not quite as chilly as Saturday, but that really being offset by more cloud around and outbreaks of rain. So it's not going to feel very pleasant at all. I mean, if you're up early on Sunday, there will be some drier, clearer skies, so some bright weather, particularly around the east, but I'm afraid it won't last, and by the afternoon it's going to be quite cloudy with some spells of rain. Now, how about snow? We've seen a little bit in the headlines already about snow potential on the cards. So let me take a look. So what we can do is we can take a look at this. This is what's called our freezing level, so where temperatures reach 0 degrees. So at the moment, this is on Friday, our freezing level is between kind of 1,000 to 1,200 metres above sea level. So essentially where we have our freezing level, if we've got anything, if it drops quite low, then that gives us a higher chance of seeing some snow, potentially to lower ground. But if it's slightly higher or around the heights of hills, that means we could potentially see some snow across high ground. But in this kind of setup, in any showers, they're expected to fall as rain. The freezing level is too high, so any precipitation falling from the clouds is going to fall as rain. Let's take a look at tomorrow though, and we can see more of these blue colours moving through. So This means that the freezing level is dropping lower. So if we do see any precipitation falling from the showers, that means that it could potentially start to freeze and fall as maybe sleet or snow. So this freezing level by the time we reach Saturday is between kind of 600 to 800 metres above sea level. So that means with the showers, they could potentially turn wintry over high ground. But this mainly across Scotland where we do see any showers. So any high ground over the Scottish Highlands, for example, could see a little bit of wintriness in the showers. But otherwise, most areas, it's just going to be falling as rain. So yes, it is going to be turning chilly over the weekend and for the beginning of next week. There will be some showers, some spells of rain at times, but lots of dry weather on Saturday. So that's definitely going to be the better day of the weekend.